Anishinaabe name translates to Woman of the New Day. My mother, Jashko Jinni Kweban, gave me that name before she passed into the spirit world. I'm of the Martin clan, and first of all, I'd like to say I'm a very proud mother of many children, but I only gave birth to 3 of them. I have about 15 extra on the side. A little bit about me. My English name is Jody Conton. I come from a varying background. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. Just kidding. I truly enjoy hand drumming and singing. I've been hand drumming and singing for about 17 years now in our territory. To start us off in that beautiful way, I will share a little bit of a song. I always like sharing a Makwa song. I don't know if you know that song. I'll share a little bit of it. I won't share the whole thing because it's kind of long. So I'll share a little bit. I have to stand back because I'm very loud. So I will stand back a bit to share this up with you. So we start in that most beautiful way. Oh, she's a tinny today. Jody. Like I said, I come from a small community. We have about 450 people that live in Wasauksing. We have about a band membership of about 1,400 people right now. All live all over Turtle Island. So I was brought up in a little township called Carling, which is about 22 minutes north of Parry Sound. My father was English, my mother was Ojibwe. This did cause a lot of confusion in my world. And at the time, I was born in 1974, so I'm aging myself. I'm 46 years old. I'll be 47 in a couple months. I can say in my 47 years on this planet that I have learned way too much for my age because of the experiences I have been through in my life. About 10 years ago, I found out that my mom was a residential school survivor, and she never told us. It wasn't something that she spoke about. She really hid a lot of stuff, but underground would show us quill boxes, talk to us in the language at the kitchen table, that sort of thing. But not really say that we were a Anishinaabe, because at that time it wasn't something you wanted to be. And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. So she did the best that she could do with us children. She had 5 kids. She had 22 foster children. I was brought up in a household where the couch was my regular bed until I was about 12. And yes, I was exposed to a lot of different things in that time. It was a very different time in the world. But within that understanding, I came to have a love for children who didn't have somebody to love them. And with all my foster brothers and sisters throughout the years, I gained this passion, and I don't know where it's, I believe it's from your blood memory, the passion of everybody needs and should feel belonged. You know, we have this identity that we kind of, as a normal person in society, when we're young and 14, we're very impressionable. And we start looking for our space and where we belong. And because we're so young in that space, it's hard to see. It's hard to see where we're going. It's hard to see what we're doing. Excuse me. So during that time, my youth, I did get in a lot of trouble, but I found passion in those spaces, and I ended up going to school for a family support worker program through Cambrian College, and I graduated a scholar in that field. And then after college, it was like, well, what do I do now? I ended up being a blackjack dealer at Casino-Rama for 3 years. It dealt excitement big time. It was a lot of fun. It was my fast life. I've met a lot of amazing Anishinaabe across Turtle Island at that space as well. And so after 3 years, my mom had said, this is enough. I was in the hospital with ulcers because I was too stressed. And my mom had just been diagnosed with terminal cancer. And she had cancer in the lymph nodes in the lungs. And she says, she came to the hospital and visited with me. And she says, it should be me in that bed, not you. You need to quit your job and come home. I don't know about you guys, but when your mom told you to do something, didn't matter how old you were, you did it. So literally I got discharged from the hospital 3 days later. I put my letter of resignation into Casino-Rama, and I was ready to leave in 2 weeks. My last shift, 6 a.m. in the morning, I'm walking the floor, picking up all the tips and going to get ready to count all our tips for the night, because that was my favorite thing to do, is to see how much money we made. Get home, and I get a call. Jody, get home right away. It was my last day of work. Because my mom knew I was coming home, she left that morning for the spirit world. So I returned home, and in that return, of course, it was really hard, and Casino-Rama called me and they said, we want you to come back. You know, you're a really good employee, we want you to come back. And I said, to be honest, I said, I'd love to come back. I said, however, I still have to take care of my father. So I stayed home. I stayed, and I got a job in my community as a family support worker. I was there for 6 years, working with my community, helping young moms, prenatal, postnatal classes, that sort of thing. And a lot of deep-seated trauma was seen at that time as well. But it was in my space at that time, I really didn't know how to help people who were in trauma. So I started taking trauma programs to learn more about that, and just expanded my knowledge as much as I could, because it was very evident that this was in our community. So I was encouraged, one of my coworkers across the bridge, because I live on an island. So I don't know if you know the Georgian Bay. There's 30,000 islands. I live on one of them. You go across this ring bridge to get to my island. And my island, I like to call it that. I call it Fantasy Island because stuff happens there that doesn't happen anywhere else. But anyways, so I went across that bridge. And when you go across that bridge to work for a CAS as an Indigenous person, we know what that's like in our communities. It was tough. It was very tough for me to work as a child protection worker in our town. I was a generic worker, so I did everything from protection, intake, investigation, all the stuff. It was a very humbling and beautiful space. It really woke my eyes up to a lot of different things in society that I never knew of before. And within that space, and during that time, I ended up separating from my children's father. And I was triggered because all the people that were going through domestic violence and all this stuff, I started going through myself. So I was humbled, and I walked away because I had to go and look. I had to go figure out what I needed to do for myself. But while I was at that Children's Aid Society, I can't handle this mic in my face. Sorry. While I was in Parry Sound, I was like, as a worker, it was frustrating for me. I don't know, it was frustrating for me because we were always late. We were always behind. Things were happening. So I came up with this idea. And I said to my boss at the time, I said, can you take this to the executive and see what they say? Like, can we talk? Can we have a meeting? I want to talk to them about an idea I have. And at that time, I hate to say that, but I was the nice Indian in the cupboard. So they only brought me out and dusted me off when they needed me to come out. I think we can all relate to that. Can you relate to that? I know I can. And so it was very difficult. And every time I went to a meeting, they canceled it. So I never shared my idea. So I ended up being a single mom for 8 years after that. And let me tell you, 3 sons, all in rep hockey, baseball, and basketball, 1 vehicle, 1 person. Yes, we divided and we conquered. And we were able to make it through. My children are now 20, 18, and 14. And they are still in organized sports, and we still drive over the countryside for them. My youngest son is in rep hardball and is doing amazing in that space. I'm very proud of him. We drive 4 times a week to another city for him to play that because it's not offered in our town. So in that humbling moments of 8 years, you know, you meet people in your life and you think, I'll never talk to that person. Well, I married him. I fell in love for the first time in my life. I thought it was love the other times, but no. Love was amazing. The connection I made with my partner, come from a totally different world than I did, raised a totally different way than I was, in a harsher space, very harsh space. He lived in an isolated community where there was all kinds of horrible things happening, from gas sniffing to abuse. And it was very tough for their community because they were so isolated, they would go and apprehend all the time. So it was very tough for them. Anyway, I'll fast forward to last year, October 13th. I got hired as a Niijaansinaanik Child and Family Services as a prevention services supervisor. And prevention's always been my passion. So it was kind of cool that I got hired. I couldn't believe it. I was pinching myself like every 30 seconds. I'm like, is this really happening? And Joanne, my boss here, she came with us, and Thea, she said, Jody, you have to come up with a prevention services model. Do some research. I said, well, what if I told you I had one? She goes, well, put it together, present it to the board. Well, I was shaking in my booties. I'm an energizer bunny, and I go. And when I'm talking in front of people, it takes a certain kind of grounding for me. And that grounding is that I don't wear shoes when I talk. Because otherwise I'll be elated and I'll be everywhere. So for you, I want to be grounded, so I make sure I have my feet strongly planted in the ground. And I'm connected to that core of the earth so that I can share my message with you and the passion for our people that I've had for all my life. And so today I've been asked by Renmain and MCASE to present to you our Minway Gudo Bajiming program. We dream together we dream, our prevention services team. I'm very happy to be here. I keep pinching myself. So let's begin. So the Niijaansinaanik Prevention Services team, the services that we provide, our Niijaansinaanik prevention workers will provide our protection team with additional supports that will address the protection concerns within the family unit and customize their plan within the sacred shell concept. All participants will be assigned a prevention worker who is dedicated to customizing their sacred shell concept and begin their participant folio. Any Niijaansinaanik Child and Family Department requiring additional support, please contact our team and we'll do what we can to support. And what I mean is in that we have quite a few departments within our agency. So if a department needed extra supports because somebody was away, sometimes we can help with those supports. Our prevention workers will assist in liaison with community partners with program enhancements and team supports. Prevention workers will assist our sister communities with any programming via co-facilitating workshops, provide up-to-date information on infants, toddlers, and children and youth. And what that is that our prevention workers, we have 6 First Nations that we cover, and our catchment area is huge. 7 First 6 First Nations that we cover. We have 7 prevention workers, and each prevention worker is in each community. And they're focused on that one community. And then that prevention worker will connect with that family well-being worker, that family support worker within that community to see what programs they have, and if whatever they're lacking, we can offer program enhancements into whichever space they're lacking. So we're incorporating new programs and partnerships with other First Nations family support and well-being workers. Anyone within our territory wishing to utilize our service can fill out the referral form. So you don't have to be involved with protection. You don't have to be involved with our agency at all. You have children, you want to be a better parent, you can come and do a self-referral, which I think is important, because I think a lot of our people would like that extra support. But where do you go? Where do you go to get it? Especially in our small communities. And a lot of our communities in our area are very limited to the funding that they have and the resources that they have access to, which creates a barrier in order to provide services to our people who need those services. The universal turtle sacred shell concept. Our relationship with the turtle is very sacred to all Anishinaabe. The turtle is a reminder of our connection to Mother Earth. She carries us on her back while guiding us, feeding us, loves and nourishes us. She shares the knowledge and understanding of our people. When we have learned the great lessons of our life, she gently pushes us off her back so we may walk our own journey, one day carrying our own babies on our back while we continue our earth walk. It is our view at Niijaansinaanik Child and Family Services is the universal turtle carrying all our First Nations on our back, assisting and creating reconnections our people have been missing for so long, whether that's identity, whether that's residential school. The universal turtle sacred shell concept enables us to take all our teachings, understandings, needs, goals, objectives as a visual tool. This will assist families in staying connected with their very own personalized plans, with the knowledge and understanding of the great respect we hold for our Mother Earth, because that's one thing I think we all can connect with. Our forms are designed in the shape of a turtle shell's back. The sacred shell concept. The sacred shell is a contract within ourselves, creation, our team, and other collaterals from time to time. The universal turtle sacred shell concept. This has been designed to assist our families with the knowledge and understanding they require to move forward in their journey in today's world while making deeper connections with the land, culture, and spirit. The Minwe Godot Bamajuan team is here to assist families with wraparound services that will engage, encourage, and empower our families through the hard work and dedication for the higher good of all. We are here to guide and shape the journey of healing, growth, and assist families in doing the work required to move forward and empower in an uplifting way. All families are welcome to participate in our programs, courses, and any workshops we may offer. And this is my favorite, our slow and steady plan. So how many of you guys like getting your work done fast? Well, I'm really slow. I try to slow things down because that's what we need to do. So we decided to call our aftercare program the slow and steady plan. Turtles are slow. We need to slow it down. We don't need to be in such a rush. This program will be offered to all participants as our aftercare program. The prevention team endeavors to provide all participants with a slow and steady plan that's designated to participants' individual needs. Participants will be able to choose if they wish to receive services from our team from 1 to 12 months. This is based on the participation desired to learn a more in-depth things that they wish to improve on. The programs we may offer, and we're always changing, we're forever growing. It's a live space because society's changing so quickly. We have all kinds of things to learn. So some of the ideas, some of the examples are goal-setting programs, building healthy relationships, self-care programs, building strong foundations and life skills, time management, stress management, meal planning, budgeting 101, coping with grief and loss, family trees, parenting skills, traditional parenting styles. We have a whole cultural team that takes care of our cultural component, which is amazing, and intergenerational trauma, pardon me. The universal turtle sacred shell concept. Why the universal turtle? This is a visual and measurable tool that our participants will be more apt to be engaged with based on the connection to our culture, spirituality, and Mother Earth as it relates to our blood memory. Excuse me. The respect our people hold for the turtle is a gentle way to connect for all intents purposes. This allows us to create time and to build positive relationships with our community members where this will be honored, respected, and understood. This will create purposeful, meaningful change and healing while building self-respect and empowerment. All this information is very relevant when reporting to the ministry, and we all know that. We will not only address the protection concerns, but also add what has been missing for so long within our child welfare agencies across the country. We look at the core issues, provide supports, and deal with childhood traumas and abuse while supporting families in finding themselves in who they are truly meant to be in that kind and gentle manner. By using the lunar calendar, which is 13 moons and 28-day cycles, reporting will be completed earlier than most deadline dates, giving space to any required adjustments or changes that are needed. By taking the time to create meaningful change within our First Nation communities and showing that we are there for the higher good of all, this will increase participation in prevention and decrease our numbers in protection. This concept has been designed by Jody Conte and myself 15 years ago, and it was modified and edited by our prevention team over the past few months. This was last year. So we look forward to meeting you. So I'm here already. Hello. So miigwech for listening to that part of it, and in a little bit more depth, so you know. Let's go to the last slide. So this is the shell that we use. And the reason why I call this universal is because you can make it layered. You can layer this. You can change it and customize it to what way you need it for that particular family. These things here, those are the 28 days I'm referring to. So you can make it the way you wish. And then I have our prevention team on the other side. So this is the concept I wanted to create because when we talk about those things that are hard for people to deal with when it comes to protection, there's always an underlying core issues there. So we're always going in and band-aiding the situation. We're never really fixing the problem. Going back 6 months later, doing the same story, saying the same story over and over again. We want to see change. We have to be the change. We have to be the change that we want to see. And for me, that's what I've been doing. And it was really tough for me when I had to leave my old job. I really love what I did. Very passionate about our people. Very passionate about helping people reconnect with themselves. And the other thing is that within the space that I reside, I just found out, like a year ago, I am a day school survivor. I went to day school in like 1981 to 1984. And I didn't know that was a day school. But it kind of makes you put yourself into perspective that way. And that self-reflection is very important when it comes to your own healing and your own journey. And for me, I've been through a lot. I've been through so much in my life. I'm just grateful to be standing in front of you today. This is my dream. These were one of my dreams. And today, it's become a reality. So for that, I say miigwech, and thank you for listening to me. Miigwech. So do you have any questions, anybody? Yeah?
How many employees make up your prevention team at Waterville Homes?
So we have 7 prevention workers. And 1 is team assistant. Their roles are all across the board.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes. So right now our main thing is we're doing a lot of home maintenance. We have homelessness is rampant in our area. And a few years ago I became the president of our native housing board in our area to try to help with that. So literally I was bringing homeless people into my house and letting them live with us because they had no place to live. And then if they had children, I'd bring them too because I didn't want them to lose their kids. So we've done that as well. And just being like a transitional place for them. This was before I moved on to here. But I think we did 58 people we have had in our home since I married my husband Jamie 6 years ago. And right now we only have 8. So we're at a low number. And they're not homeless people, they're people who just want to live with us. So it's been a really interesting journey that way. And our town, we live in a very small space. And it's very difficult when it comes to racism and discrimination in our place. So we have to really teach our children to be mindful and cognizant of what they do and where they go and how they speak. And that's how I've raised my sons. I've raised 3 very strong young men to be kind and respectful to everyone, no matter if they're disrespectful to them. Because at the end of the day, it's a reflection of that person, not you. So it's been a humbling experience.
Jody, how do you use your turtle shell in MCASE?
Yeah, good question, Sue. I was waiting for that. So anyways, after this concept was presented, it was approved by our board and supported, and I was elated. And I was crying. I cried. It was amazing. So then Joanne said to me, "Oh, we're hiring this place called MCASE for our systems." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." And so they got a hold of us, and I kind of was like in a cloud of a daze of what's going on. And all of a sudden I meet Palak and Sue and everybody from the team, and they came in and like, "We love your concept, let's put it together." And so literally it was put in MCASE, and our workers sat through the whole journey with MCASE. All our workers have their input into our system, what they liked, what they didn't like, what would work, what didn't work, and of course it was approved after. And then we went live June 3rd. So we're live on MCASE as of June 3rd, and we're starting to get, our numbers are going up real quick. This week we had a good spike, about 7 new referrals in one day, which is cool, but also like, whoa, we're growing really quickly. And the inputting of the sacred shell concept is a slow one. So we have a lot of our team, most of our team has never worked with a system. And they've worked for their communities that don't work with systems. So we've had a lot of learning curves when it comes to learning, and MCASE has been so great. Like we can call the help desk and we can say, "Hey, what's going on? Can you help us here?" And within minutes it's taken care of. And they get a reply back right away. And then if our team needs to troubleshoot, so I have a couple of team members who do have some learning disabilities, and they're able to use the system easily and fluidly. And so that's really cool, because we do have a lot of Indigenous people who do great work, but aren't necessarily able to use computers overhead, We have to accustom ourselves to that and help them learn and understand and be patient with that. So that's what we do. When our team is struggling, when somebody in our team doesn't understand something, we sit down with them and we walk it through with them until they understand it. And that has done us so good over the past year that we've been together. The one person who I thought would have the hardest time adjusting, she's flying with the program. And she's inputting her stuff. Her contact logs are amazing. I could just see her opening up. And I'm very proud of her, because she's like, "I don't know if I can do this." And I'm like, "You can do this. I have faith in you." I have faith in every single person I meet. We all have gifts, and we all have beautiful things to do in this world. We have to be open to those and not be so resistant. Does that answer your question, Sue?
Yeah, it was so neat, because as we were there, we were like, the turtle shell was such a big piece of their program, and it was like, how are we incorporating this? Because we had not had the turtle shell before, and so now it's neat when we open up Niijaansinaanik's plan, is we actually have the slow and steady plan is actually part of their system. So it was just really neat. I want Jody to
I said to Sue, "You guys got to catch up with my brain. They can't put my turtle shell in their system yet." I said, "You know what? Within the next 3 years, you're going to be putting a shell on the system, and the whole shell's going to light up. And then when it's lit up, that means the person's completed it." So what the really cool part about it, of what I thought too, the process was, as a lot of our people they move everywhere, right? We move all over the place. We don't just stay in one place. And so we come up with what's called a participant portfolio. Every program they complete, they get a completion certificate, gets put in that portfolio. Updated resumes. reference letters, character reference letters, get all put in that portfolio. So when they move to Saskatchewan and a CES worker comes knocking on the door, they got that portfolio and say, here, I've dealt with you guys already. Give them the tools to be powerful, and they will be. Give them the tools to tell them they're good people, and they will be. We are all beautiful spirits. And we all have to attune to that. And the sooner we do that, the better off we'll be. When we work together in that good way, in that kind and loving way, for the higher good of all, we can move mountains. So with that, any other questions? Yeah, sorry.
I'm curious, I know you touched on a few pieces of data collection that you do for your intake. I'm just wondering what kind of data do you collect?
Okay, so sorry.
Because I agree with you, prevention, you're out there, you do the work, but what are you collecting?
So within the programs and activities area, our workers go in. So right now, because of COVID, we haven't been able to do community programs, of course, because we've been locked out. So our numbers aren't the greatest right now because of that. However, we still do individualized. So we take those individual home maintenance, the parenting, the batch cooking, and we put it in there. So like we have 5 families working with batch cooking. We have 10 families working on home maintenance. Home maintenance is just simple house care stuff. Hoarders, getting rid of the garbage, cleaning, purging, helping them purge, get reorganized to feel good again. So then all that information gets inputted, and our beautiful friend Thea here, she works on all our statistics and brings it out and shows us a picture of how many families we've helped during this quarter with batch cooking, how many families we helped this quarter with, budgeting. And so that we get our numbers that way. Does that help? Okay. Anything else? Okay. Well, I think I'm almost out of time. Haha, miigwech.